I have to admit, when I first saw this news, I couldn't believe it. Jordan Devy was a Super Bowl champion, a family man, and someone who seemed to have his whole life ahead of him. That's why his passing at just 38 years old left fans, friends, and former teammates completely stunned. But the story doesn't end there. As more information started coming out, it became clear there were parts of Jordan's life that very few people knew about. And the more I learned about his journey, the more I realized this wasn't only the story of losing an athlete. It was about things happening behind the scenes that nobody saw coming. What's up, Flock? My name is Tiago. I'm a Brazilian Ravens fan, and welcome back to Purple Flock TV. I have to admit, this was one of those stories that made me stop for a moment. Jordan Devy, a former NFL player and Super Bowl champion, passed away at 38 years old. When news like this breaks, the first reaction is often the same. How can someone so young be gone so soon? And that was a question going through many people's minds as the news started spreading. The confirmation came from his wife, Lindsay, who shared an emotional message on social media. In one of the most powerful parts, she wrote, "We have filled the walls of our homes and hearts with countless memories, joys, struggles, and triumphs." Reading those words makes it clear that this wasn't only about a former athlete. This was about a husband, a father, and someone who held a place in his family's life that could never be replaced. Another moment that stood out to me was when Lindsay talked about their 4 children. She said they carried their father's eyes, freckles, and compassion. To me, details like this completely change the way we look at a story like this. Suddenly, the titles, the statistics, and the trophies become secondary. What remains of the people who loved Jordan and the memories he left behind? As tributes started coming in from fans, friends, and former teammates, new detail began to emerge and made the situation even more difficult. The pain of losing him was already enormous, but what came out afterward made many people reflect on a difficult reality that affects families around the world and often stays hidden behind smiles and achievements. When the news of Jordan Devy's passing started spreading, many people thought it was another unexpected and heartbreaking loss that was difficult to understand. But shortly after, new information came out that completely changed the conversation. According to details shared by his family, his death was confirmed as a suicide. And when that information became public, the sadness was followed by a moment of reflection. I believe situations like this remind us of something we often forget. We don't always see the battle someone is facing behind closed doors. From the outside, Jordan was known as a former NFL player, a Super Bowl champion, a family man, and someone respected by everyone around him. To many people, it looked like he had built the kind of life anyone would admire. The story received even more attention because Jordan became the 3rd former NFL player to die by suicide in 2026. That number stands out not only because of the statistic itself, but because it brings back important conversations about mental health, emotional pressure, and the challenges athletes face during and after their professional careers. Many of those struggles remain invisible, even to the people closest to them. While his family was trying to deal with a loss that is impossible to measure, another part of Jordan's story started gaining attention. Before wearing an NFL uniform and becoming a Super Bowl champion, Jordan Devy had a journey that looked very different from what most people imagine when they think about a professional football player. And that is what makes his story so surprising. Most people imagine NFL players started playing football as kids, spent years training, and were seen as future stars from an early age. But Jordan Devy's story was completely different. During high school, he wasn't even playing football. In fact, one of his favorite activities was playing the tuba in his school band, while also competing on the basketball team. After completing a religious mission in Costa Rica, his life started moving in a different direction. It was only after that experience that he decided to take football more seriously. He first joined Snow College, where he developed his skills on the field. Later, he transferred to University of Memphis, where he stood out and started gaining attention from scouts. His performance in college was so consistent that he earned recognition within the conference and also won the D'Angelo Williams Most Valuable Player award during his final season. Still, nothing guaranteed that he would reach the NFL. Many talented players finish their college careers without ever receiving an opportunity at the professional level. The most interesting part is that the challenges didn't stop there. Even after proving himself in college, Jordan still had to face one of the toughest steps for any athlete, making the NFL without being selected in the draft. What happened next would end up becoming the most important chapter of his football career. Jordan Devey began his professional journey in 2013 when he signed with the Baltimore Ravens as an undrafted free agent. In other words, no team selected him during the NFL draft. For many athletes, that moment can feel like the end of a dream. After all, the chances of building a long-lasting career after going undrafted are often much smaller. That's why one of the things that impresses me the most about this story is the way Jordan refused to give up. Even though he never played an official game for the Ravens, he kept working and searching for his opportunity in the league. That persistence eventually opened the door to a chance that would change his life forever. It was with the New England Patriots that he started gaining more recognition. After spending time on a practice squad, he earned a bigger role, started games, and became part of a team that finished its journey by winning Super Bowl 49. Very few players get to reach that level. For someone who wasn't even selected in the draft, the achievement becomes even more remarkable. In the years that followed, he would also play for teams like the San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, Las Vegas Raiders, and Buffalo Bills. By the end of his career, he had appeared in 44 games and made 21 starts. The numbers tell part of the story, but what stands out the most is the journey. Jordan showed that even when the doors seem closed, determination and persistence can take someone much further than people expect.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button to help the purple flock grow.
Many athletes retire and disappear from the spotlight. Jordan Devey chose a different path. After hanging up his cleats in 2020, he stayed close to the sport he loved. In Eagle, Idaho, he became a volunteer coach and mentor for young players, dedicated his time to helping teenagers who dreamed of following a similar path. What stands out the most in the stories shared by the community isn't the championships, contracts, or big NFL moments. What people remember is the way he treated others. Parents, students, and co-workers describe Jordan as someone patient, kind, and always willing to encourage people when they needed support. I think there is something truly special about that, because not every legacy is built through trophies. Some people leave their mark through the words they share, the advice they give, and the confidence they help others build. From everything people have said about Jordan, he seemed to be that kind of person. His story goes far beyond football. It's about overcoming obstacles, chasing unlikely dreams, family, and the impact one person can have on the lives of others. Maybe that's why so many tributes continue to come in. Even after his passing, the memories Jordan Devey created throughout his life continue to live on to the people who were lucky enough to know him. Getting to the end of this story is difficult. Throughout his life, Jordan Devey built the kind of journey many athletes dream of having. He came from an unlikely path, earned his place in the NFL, lifted the Super Bowl trophy, and left his mark everywhere he went. But more than anything, this story showed that his life was about much more than what he accomplished on the football field. I have to admit, one of the things that stayed with me the most was seeing how many people talked about Jordan's character, his kindness, and his willingness to help others. Trophies and statistics matter, but time often shows that a person's true legacy is measured by the impact they leave on the lives of those who had the chance to know them. And based on the tributes shared in recent days, Jordan left a mark that will not be forgotten. Right now, my thoughts are with his wife, his 4 children, and everyone facing this heartbreaking loss. And now I want to hear from you. What memory or moment stands out the most to you about Jordan Devey and his journey in the NFL? Leave your comment below, because I would love to hear your thoughts.
And if you're a true Ravens fan and love keeping up with everything happening around the team, don't leave this video without sharing it with a friend who's just as passionate. They're definitely going to enjoy this. See those videos on your screen right now? I picked the first one especially for you, and the other is recommended by YouTube. Go check them out, and I'll see you in the next video.